A cop and I keep getting called to the same house. I've been a police officer for nearly a decade, and in that time I've seen some strange things, but nothing has unsettled me quite like the house on Willow Lane. It's not a rundown abandoned property, not the kind of place you'd expect to be haunted by drug deals or squatters. It's just a normal suburban house, a two-story white picket fence picturesque American dream, and yet for the past 6 months, I keep getting called there. It started as a simple welfare check. A neighbor called in saying they heard screaming. By the time I arrived, the house was silent, the porch light flickering ominously. I knocked, announced myself, and waited. No answer. I checked the perimeter, peeked through windows. Nothing. Dispatch, said the homeowner. A Mr. David Lane was registered there. But my knocks went unanswered. Eventually, we had to force entry. Inside, the place was pristine. No signs of struggle, no overturned furniture, no bloodstains, just a quiet, perfectly arranged home. The only thing off was a single dinner plate, sitting on the dining table, untouched, with food that looked like it had been sitting there for days. I searched the house top to bottom. No sign of David Lane, no sign of anyone. We filed a missing persons report, left the property, and that was supposed to be the end of it. But it wasn't. 2 nights later, another call came in, more screaming. I responded again, and this time the front door was slightly open. I drew my weapon, announced myself, and stepped inside. The plate on the table was gone, but now there were fresh footprints in the dust. On the floor, they led from the front door, straight into the living room, and then stopped. No prints leading back out, as if someone had just vanished. I checked the house again, but just like before, it was empty. No David Lane, no intruders, nothing. It didn't make sense. But I chalked it up to a prank or paranoia until it happened again. And again. And again. Every few nights we'd get another call, the same complaints. Screaming shadows moving in the windows, doors opening and closing by themselves. The other officers started avoiding the call when it came up, some joke that the house was cursed. Others weren't so sure it was a joke. Then last week I found something new. I arrived at the house alone. I stepped inside, my flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. The house smelled different this time. Then I heard it. A whisper, faint but unmistakable, coming from upstairs. I climbed the staircase slowly, my heart hammering. The whispering grew louder. A hushed conversation in a voice I didn't recognize. I followed the sound to the master bedroom. The door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. And there, standing in the center of the room, was a man. His back was to me, his posture rigid. He was wearing a suit, and his hair was neatly combed. But something about him felt wrong. My flashlight flickered, and in that brief moment of darkness, I heard the whisper again, directly behind me. I spun around, gun raised, nothing. When I turned back to the man, he was gone. I searched the entire room, the entire house, no trace of him. But something was left behind. Something I hadn't noticed before. A single yellowed newspaper clipping, pinned to the wall with an old, rusty nail. It was dated 1956. Local man found dead in Willow Lane, home suspect still at large. And beneath it, scribbled in what looked like dried blood, "You see me now. I haven't been back to the house since."